In this video, we are going to look at some words that you can use to describe large or dramatic increases and decreases in charts and graphs for writing task 1 of the IELTS exam. To describe large increases, we're going to look at spike, soar, and rocket. And to describe large decreases, we're going to look at plummet and plunge. So let's start with large increases. And we're going to take a look at this line graph, which shows us the price of this stock, Clear Star, from January 12th to January 27th. And if you look at this line graph, on what day do you see a large increase in the price for this stock? All right, and you should say January 22nd. So on January 22nd, the price increased a lot compared to the other days. And the rise was very quick. And spike is one word that you can use to describe this increase. One way to remember this word spike is to think of this hairstyle. And you can see on his head, it looks like he has spikes. And so it looks similar to that part of the line graph. So a spike goes up very quickly, has a point, and then starts to fall. So we can say that on January 22nd, the price spiked. It went up very quickly. And you can use spike as a noun or as a verb. And let's look at two examples. So as a noun, we can say on January 22nd, there was a large spike in its price. And if you want to use it as a verb, it's a regular verb, so it just ends with ed. We can say its stock price spiked to about $33 on January 22nd. And so that's one option when you see a very large and quick increase in a graph. Another word that you can use is the word soar. And this word means to go up easily. And one way to remember this word is to think of a bird. We use this word also to describe the way a bird flies. So they fly very high and very easily in the sky. And so, like spike, we can say on January 22nd, the price soared. So it went up like it was going to the sky. And soar is a regular verb, so we can say its stock price soared to about $33 on January 22nd. And the last word we're going to look at is skyrocket, or just rocket. And the easiest way to remember this word is to think of a rocket shooting up into outer space. And so we can use this as well for this large increase on January 22nd. The price rocketed or skyrocketed. And it's a regular verb, so just ed at the end. So now that you've got these three words, let's do a little practice. So let's look at this line graph. If you look at the title, you can see that this line graph is about shark attacks in Australia. And on the bottom, you see the years. So it's about shark attacks in Australia between 2001 and 2012. So in this line graph, when do you see a very large increase in the number of attacks? All right, well, hopefully you said 2009. So in 2009, the number of shark attacks increased a lot compared to 2008 of the line graph. Let's look at just focusing on 2009. And let's start with the word spike. So what I'd like you to do is think of the word spike as a noun. And what sentence can you write using the word spike to describe this large increase in 2009? And you can pause the video if you like to write your sentence, or you can just think of a sentence in your head. All right, well, let's take a look at my sentence. And I wrote, there was a spike in shark attacks between 2008 and 2009. Right? It more than doubled. And now think about spike as a verb. All right, so how can you use spike as a verb to describe this large increase in shark attacks? Let's take a look at my example. And I wrote shark attacks spiked in 2009. And now let's take a look at the word soar. So think of an example or think of a sentence using the word soar to describe this large increase in 2009. And now here's my sentence. The number of shark attacks soared to 22 attacks in 2009. And lastly, let's take a look at a rocket or skyrocket. So think of a sentence or write a sentence using skyrocket. And here is my example. In 2009, the number of shark attacks in Australia skyrocketed to 22. And your sentences might be a little bit different, especially where you put the year, but that's all right. And now we're going to look at large decreases. So we're going to use that same line graph that we used for large increases, but now we're looking for large decreases. So if you look at this line graph, on what day do we see the largest decrease? All right, you should say on January 27th. So right at the end of the line graph, we have a dramatic decrease, and you can see the price really dropped, and it dropped lower than on any other day in the line graph. So we're going to start with the word plunge to see how we can describe this dramatic drop. So plunge means to drop quickly and deeply, like someone going into the water. And we can use this as a verb, and we can say the price of Clearstar plunged on January 27th. So it's just a regular verb. And another word we can use is plummet. Okay, plummet means to fall very, very quickly. So you can think of a bird or a skydiver or an airplane or anything falling very quickly out of the sky. All right, and it's a regular verb. So the price of Clearstar plummeted on January 27th. So you have some options with describing these large increases and decreases. And now with decreases, let's do a little bit of practice. So this is a different line graph. It's about leatherback turtles born in Baton Bay. And you can see very quickly that there are a lot of very large decreases. We see a plunge in 1997. We see one in 2000, between 2001 and 2003, and overall between 1995 and 2005, the number of turtles born in Baton Bay decreased dramatically. So we're going to look at specific points and also at the whole line graph. So let's start with the year 2000. So in 2000, the number of leatherback turtles born in Baton Bay plunged or plummeted to 200, right? And now let's take a look at the whole line graph. So between 1995 and 2005. So what sentence can you write to describe the dramatic decrease between 1995 and 2005? I have two examples for you. One is between 1995 and 2005, the number of turtles born in Baton Bay plummeted. And I can also divide that up into two sentences. I can say, in 1995, about 1,400 leatherback turtles were born in Baton Bay. By 2005, that number had plunged or plummeted to about 180. So you can see that you can use these words to describe specific points or trends overall that you see in the graph.